Black history of rock and roll. Black history of rock and roll. Black history of rock and roll. Today we are featuring Reggie Rector, who is most known for playing in the Long Beach, California band Secret Hate. Now, I'm from Long Beach, California, so this is definitely a special one for me, too. Long Beach, California has a lot of great music that comes out of it. I mean, shoot, we had the Pyramids, we have War, man, I think, was it, not Bread? Was it Bread that came from, forget it. Well, as far as hardcore and punk and all that, punk and hardcore, we had bands like Rhino 39. I think they were actually the first band in that genre. TSOL, Suburban Lawns, and definitely this band, Secret Hate, Super Heroines. I think Super Heroines before they were Super Heroines. Eva O, who was in that band, was in a band called the Speed Queens. I think they were from Long Beach too. Correct me if I'm wrong. But back to Secret Hate. Secret Hate, oh man, how could I say this? Definitely among the legends. They're probably known most by one of their songs, which was made famous by another Long Beach band by the name of Sublime. The name of the song is The Ballad of Johnny Butt. Sublime covered it. Actually, this band was the original people that made that song. And Reggie played for this band. Secret Hate, from what I understand, was around from like 1981 to 85. I can say that I got into hardcore like probably like in the mid to late 80s. More late 80s, I should say that. So I didn't really know about them until like much after. This is a great picture of Reg right here, rocking it. They were featured actually on a compilation called Hell Comes to Your House with bands like 45 Grave, Christian Death, Social Distortion. Who else was on that compilation? I think Superheroines were actually on that compilation as well. And actually it was put together by the guy from Rhino 39. And he definitely sought Secret Hate out to put them on there. But yeah, Reg, man, like you could hear his guitar work. It was really cool, like just really interesting stuff that he's doing. I mean, Secret Hate was a really good band. I mean, I like the stuff that I've heard, I wish I could have seen them live, But Reg also was in a few other bands, and this is another one called Phantom Opera. Phantom Opera was a trip too because I'll say this, man, they had that hardcore punk vibe going on, but definitely more of a oh man, I hate when this happens. Definitely more of a they had this sort of crossover with sort of a goth type vibe to it. Now, I know I could use the argument that a lot of hardcore bands kind of had this post-punk flirtation. You'll hear that with a lot of them back then, especially bands like TSOL. But this group right here is a trip because this is, I guess, what some people would even call like within the last phases of the first generation of hardcore. Because a lot of bands, I mean, around 85, people were saying that like that's when a lot of things were kind of dying down. But this group did this great album called Life of Violence, and it sounds like definitely like a crossover metal feel, but with that same hardcore energy, but like kind of with gothic overtones, with the way that the music is played. It's a bit darker, it's heavy, it's faster, and the guy's vocals, is really interesting too. Kind of has that sort of that those that listen to sort of goth type music know what I'm talking about if they heard this. He's singing, but kind of like in a different way. Like that would be kind of similar to that. But anyway, you could hear Reggie's just you could hear him even more so, like with just the things that he was doing on guitar. Definitely like a heavier than like Secret Hate, and also like a lot of great leads that he was doing that was just like really man, it definitely was a different band than Secret Hate. Although from what I've read, one of the songs on that album was a song that he was going to use for Secret Hate. I think they had broken up around the time that he recorded with this particular band. One thing that's really cool too, for all you guys, all you Hyrax fans, this is something that you might dig. Caton DePena from Hyrax was in a band with Reggie called LA Chaos, and they were around in the early 80s actually. They did one demo. You could actually find it on here on YouTube. And they were more kind of in a hard rock, heavy metal type, vibe. Really cool stuff, man, and thanks to Caton from Hyrax for letting me use this photo, by the way. Check them out if you can. This is Secret Hate. Just rocking out. Really cool, man. Really cool. Another rocking out picture. One thing I'm sad to say is after this particular album, we lost Reggie. I mean, he passed. From what I understand, it was actually right after he recorded this album. And this album, as well as the Secret Hate stuff, was put out by Mike Watt's record label. And I think Mike Watt actually produced this particular album as well. Oh man, how could I forget the name of that label? The name of the label was New Frontier Records. That's what it was called. Mike Watt, Mike Watt from the Minutemen and Firehose, amazing bass player. He produced this Phantom Opera album. And he produced some other stuff by Secret Hate, but also Secret Hate produced what were also produced by another guy who I'm going to also feature by the name of Spot. And I'll tell you more about that as well. For those that know who he is, they know that he is pretty legend as well as Mike Watt, on the production side as well as the music side. But yeah, this is definitely about Reggie. So, as I was saying, unfortunately he passed after this album, and this was, I guess, the last recording that he did with a band. But hey, check out his music. You could find it on YouTube. Secret Hate, Phantom Opera, and LA Chaos. So for now, this is the Black History of Rock and Roll signing out. Rest in peace, Reggie Rector. Memory eternal. Signing out, Black History of Rock and Roll.